All right, now our last one is undoubtedly my favorite one of the night. Okay, I've tried all three of these in preparation and ingredients and stuff tonight, and I like the chicken pesto is my second favorite. I really like that. I was thinking of a million different ways you can use this chicken pesto when you're making it. I just eat it with a spoon. I mean, that was really, really good.
Great on a Ritz.
Huh? On a Ritz? Yeah. Yeah, it'd be good on Ritz. It'd be a good Christmas time dip. If you're having parties or different things, you can use it for that. But undoubtedly, this one is my favorite one that we're going to do tonight. Because I love mustard. I love apple butter. If everybody will turn around, and my wife's going to raise her hand. Everybody turn and look at my wife. You see the lady sitting next to her in the blue shirt? That is my mother, and her name is Maggie McGrew. And she makes the best apple butter that has ever been made in the whole wide world. Okay? And I have to confess to my mother that I had to use store-bought apple butter tonight. So, and that's we have been making apple butter since I don't remember when. She bought an apple butter from the Bristol hardware store, an apple butter kettle from the Bristol hardware store, and had it on layaway. And we went and made payments for it, and it's a copper kettle, and we've had that. She cares more. No, I ain't gonna say that because she don't, but she really likes her copper kettle, and she has taught me, and I've kind of taken it on, and my brother Fred has taken it on, and we've started making apple butter now. And a lot of people say, "What is the best apple?" They was asked to me just this last week, "What is the best apple to make apple butter with?" My favorite is Wolf River apples. Stamens, wine saps. Now you'll see a lot of places you go to now that'll call them Stamen wine saps because they've been crossbred. Very seldom do you ever find one that is the same, that are separated now from a Stamen and a wine sap. But Stamen wine saps or Wolf River apples are my preference. I've used other apples. I've used John of Gold's one time when we lived in Knoxville when we was making it with the church. A lot of people make apple butter in the kettles outside, and they start with canned applesauce. That is a quick way to do it, but it ain't the best way to do it, I'm going to tell you. Start with your apples and a little bit of peeling your apples and everything. My wife loves when it comes to apple butter time because I peel apples in our house, and I don't make a bit of a mess, do I? She is not going to agree to that because she's afraid lightning will strike. Apples are messy when you're peeling them, but especially when you peel 5 or 6 bushels at a time. So apple butter is a wonderful thing. It's one of my favorite things in the whole world. And we are going to do a couple of different ways tonight. I'm going to do the loaf, and I'm going to do the rolls both in order that we will have enough. Again, this is our full circle ciabatta bread. You remember our baguettes that we did? On it, you notice that there's a lot of holes in it, a lot of place for flavor to go. This is the same way. This is just a flatter bread. Again, when you're slicing this, please be careful and don't get your hand. Be very careful. You can see when we open this up, it looks very similar, doesn't it? It looks very similar to what we used earlier. This is the most simple recipe. I kind of felt guilty about doing this because it is so easy. But I want you all to experience this flavor because it is really, really good. We are going to take Food Club brand apple butter. This recipe came from a website that I found, and I cannot tell you the name of the website because I don't remember it. But it is, you can go on there, and it was actually part of a contest. They were holding a contest to see who could come up with recipes and different things in order to be able to, with their product. And it was a different kind of apple butter that they were using. I believe the name of the apple butter was Musselman's. Is that an apple butter? And they were trying to have a competition who could come up with the best recipe. And this would have been nothing that would have ever went through my mind in a million years to do. But it is really, really good. Now all we're going to do is we're going to take some apple butter and we're just going to spread us a generous layer. A little bit of butter, a little bit of real apple butter. And we're going to fill all those nooks and crannies in. This is an open-faced sandwich. Everybody know what open-faced sandwich means? It means we're not going to put a top on it. Okay.
We'll make both halves open.
We're going to make both halves open, and we're going to do probably a few rolls to make sure we've got enough for everybody to try. You can see it fills in real good. And that's about a quarter, close to half of that jar that we've used on that one slice of bread. And the reason being, yeah, really, I agree. Pour it on. The reason being is those nooks and crannies in that bread, okay, have filled up. That bread is about 3 times as heavy as it was just a minute ago because of all that apple butter in there. Then we're going to take a little bit of Dijon mustard. This is where it begins to get weird for a lot of people. Is you generally think of apple butter as eating on biscuits, hot buttery biscuits, or toast, or on something. You generally don't think about putting mustard on apple butter. Okay, but we're going to take just a good generous portion of Dijon mustard, and we're going to go right down the middle of it. Well, I know. But it can be deceiving, I promise you. Our store manager, Raymond Stockard, was up here earlier. I said, Raymond, I've got something I want you to try. He said, what is it? For the last time I said that, it was chocolate-covered bacon. And he said he did not think that sounded good at all. And then he ate it. And if you all notice, when you were eating samples that night, he came back 2 or 3 times and got him some samples too. I said, it is a pastrami sandwich with cheddar cheese. He said, what else? I said, apple butter and mustard. He said, no, thank you. Jessica was back there, and I said, well, I'm going to let Jessica try it. I said, try it. He said, okay. So he took a little bit of bite of it, and you could see his eyes and his opinion just change at the same time because of the wonderful taste of it. It is really good. This pastrami that we sell comes from our bakery deli. This is not a prepackaged pastrami. This is some that we sliced down there just today. And we're going to be generous with our pastrami. The easiest way to do it,
Number 1 slice.
this is a 1.5 slice. That's what we had this cut on right here. That gives it a little bit of texture, but it still helps it fall apart. We're going to fold it over and double it over, and that way you can just shingle it down through here. Your recipe, I think, calls like for 1.25 pounds. If you like more, put more. If you don't like as much, don't put as much. But I like pastrami. Pastrami is beef that's been cured with spices and stuff, and it's kind of a drier meat. The pink that you see inside of this is not pink as if it was medium or medium rare. It's pink from where it's been cured. And so it's not a rare meat. A lot of people kind of don't like rare meat. I like roast beef. When you slice it out here on a slicer, it moves. That's just the way I like roast beef. And steaks, most beef, everything but hamburger. I will not eat raw hamburger. I don't like raw hamburger because hamburger is ground up, okay? Everything on the outside has been ground up to the inside, and so I don't really trust it that much, okay? But steaks and whole muscle beef, I don't believe in cooking it. I mean, it's just not much, just enough to barely get it warm. There's a place we can add another piece too. And then we're going to add some cheddar on top of this. Now, cheddar and apple butter go good together. Why? What happens when a lot of people will eat apple pie and put a big hunk of cheddar cheese with it? Okay? The only thing that the 2 things we got on here that really makes this kind of weird to a lot of people is the beef and the butter and the mustard mixture. We're going to spread this out real good. That piece is trying to get away, but we're not going to let it. All right. And then we're going to slide this in the oven. Right on the grill. Well, we'll get there. We're going to let this one cook first, and that way we can give it time to start melting while we're doing the other one. And while you all are chomping down on that one, we can have this one cooking too, and some of the rolls too. So we're going to add our apple butter. Okay. The reason I did that way is I've already got mustard on the spatula, and I didn't want to stick the mustardy spatula down in the jar of apple butter in case we use it for something else. Now, to me, you toast this up with a little bit of just plain butter on it with this apple butter and just sit down and eat this right here. I mean, my favorite part of making apple butter was when it was all said and done, and Mom would go in the house and make biscuits, or somebody would go in the house and make biscuits, and you'd sop the apple butter out of the bottom of the pot with the biscuits that were made. And you wonder why I have diabetes, right? But boy, it sure was fun getting it, I guess. So, all right, then we're going to add our Dijon mustard on. We're just going to spread that very liberally across. And like you said, at this stage, no, it is not the most appetizing looking thing to ever eat. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. You know that from looking at it. Then we're at our pastrami. But I'll guarantee you this. If you all don't like it, it will not go to waste, because me and Jessica will sit down and eat every bite of it before you all get gone. So, pastrami, you'll see on the outer edges of this, you see the black ring. That's a lot of the spices that it's rubbed in while after it was done marinating, and that's what gives it a lot of its flavor too. I don't think it would taste the same. If I was going to use anything, I would use roast beef. I would use like our London broil. You could use something like that. I would corned beef, okay? Good corned beef, like whole muscle corned beef. We have some down there called Manco corned beef. Well, we don't now. We can't get it anymore. I don't know why. We've ordered it 2 or 3 times and can't get it. Manco is like the old canned corned beef. You know what I'm talking about? Like corn, it's not like corned beef hash, but it's a mixture of corned beef. And Mom looked for it for everywhere for a long time. We finally got it in here, and now we can't get it. I don't know what the deal is. This product actually comes from Brazil. The corned beef that we have down there is called Manco. It's really good grilled, make real good corned beef hash, but you could use corned beef doing this. Salami has too much fat. Salami has too many different spices and stuff like that, and it would really change the flavor of it. And salami is a kind of a pork product too.
People don't allow to starve the cows in this country is the reason to get it from Brazil.
Right, it's a different type of meat, right?
It's starved of water. One kind of beef, they don't allow it in this country. Don't know what they're missing.
Don't know what they're missing. Alrighty.